Hello, hi guys, how are you? Hi. I ran into a weird problem with my webcam, so I don't even know if you guys can see properly, but I'll still read today. I'll have like the music playing and everything, and I'll still read. It's just I have no clue if you guys can see it properly, so we'll see. Hi Divisory, what's up? Hope you got Vil. Oh yeah, Vil's Overblock came out today? Yeah. Oh wait, no, tomorrow. Right? The 28th? Or did I read that wrong? But anyways, crazy. Hello, hi. Yes, I know the new announcement. I did see. It's kind of hard not to see. Oh, your model's so pretty. Thank you, Cheese Drippy. Thank you so much. It's coming tomorrow. Yeah. Are you guys hyped? Honestly, every time when I think about like an Overblot card, I'm like, Idio's my favorite. No Villas, no Jamil, no Riddle, no Leona. Like, I can't decide. It's very hard. Wait, Villas today? No. Tomorrow. I just got like confused because I thought people were talking about it on chat, so I was like, wait, it's happening now? Because you really never know nowadays. Hi, Lena, what's up? Thank you guys for the follows. Hi, Azul, what's up? I seen Riley's design. Yeah, okay. What's his name? I can't say it. The one that's twisted from Jasmine. Oh, thank you, Lady Nude, for the cheer. Did you see the new character of Rose Art Academy yet, Rose? Yes, I did. I couldn't avoid it. Literally, the first thing that I saw when I logged in today was the 2 new characters. They look so good. They do. They really do. Prince Riley. Yeah. I don't know all of their names. I'm just calling him Mina. Mina Jail. Mina Jail. I'll figure it out once I get it. Once I look at it. But yeah, please no book 8 spoilers. I'm just saying the names because like there's no way you don't know, and they have been mentioned before, except the one that's twistified for Scribia, kind of perfect Scribia. Riley's name, Prince Riley's name, was said before, so they were mentioned. Same thing with Hercules, he was mentioned before. Meg was mentioned before by Idia. What was the land that they came from? I forgot. Something about Jupiter family. Think of eel and then you get it. Minjail. Oh, Minjail. That sounds like Jamil, but they put a Mina in front. I saw that Riley this morning. Yeah, it's impossible to avoid. so cool. Yeah, I can't help it, but I woke up at 5 a.m. just to see the new design. Really? Oh my god. Also, why the hell is my model freaking out? Like, track my face properly, model. God dang. Wait, are we reading Leona's light novel together? Yes, we are. So if you guys have the light novel, read it with me. The issue is I'm having so much trouble trying to like put it up on the screen. Thank you, the Kikyo, for following. Yes, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I pulled an all-nighter to see them, guys. Yeah, Min Je Il is how I pronounce it. I see. I gotta do my research. Oh, Rose, I finished a novel a few hours ago. Dang, Namo. Nice. I am gonna start it right now. Okay, so let me show you guys what I mean by like trouble with trying to read the thing. Alrighty. Let's just call him Jamie. Mina, Janie. Mina is a name they could have gone with. High key. I don't know why they didn't. Oh wait, can I do it with the camera instead? No, I cannot. That's interesting. Why is that? Is it because it's only open here? No. Okay, that's weird. Discard. Okay. I know what to do. Alright, ta-da! This is... I don't know what's going on with my webcam. It's so stretched out. Like, literally, it's the worst ever. Why is it so pixelated? Man. I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what happened. This never happened before. I do not know the solution. Hopefully you guys can hear the music, though. Can you? Okay. So, this is Leona, King Scholar. But for some reason, when I tilt the camera up like this... Oh, see? It starts to act right. So, I don't know. I think you guys are just gonna have a very limited view of everything. Maybe I should make myself smaller. Hold on. This is so scuffy. I love Squish Leona. Yeah. Okay, there we go. It's time to read. Yeah, goddamn, he's so stunning. Right? Hold on, let's take a little closer look. Voila. I wish I could read the book like this, but there's no way. There's no music? You guys hear no music? Really? Fine. right there, yeah. Yeah. Oh my god! Shake your treads! How did it go? Anyways, the name of the novel is Usurpers from the Wilds. The novel. It's, as you can see, it's really gold. Can you see the shine when I tilt it up and down? Me like gold. Me likey. I'm gonna listen while gaming. Oh yeah, might leave soon to go out. It's my birthday. Happy birthday, Soft Potato! I hope you have a great birthday. Honest to goodness. Thank you, Lena, for the cheer. I made Mally's emotes for his VA. No way, really? That's crazy. Nicely. Let me see. You did the boot? Oh wait, are these the emotes? I do not know. But that looks like from what's it called? Honkai Star Rail? Yeah. Okay. Look at his handsome face. Yeah, the light novel is one of my favorites in Twist because of Yuya. Yes, Yuya is amazing. Okay, so how do I... Okay, I guess I have to make the book like this. And I have to get my face in at the same time. I'm gonna manage... This is gonna be a great stream, guys. Do not worry. Lots of details. Yes. So there's his staff, as you can see. And then the moon is right there. Thank you, Lena, for the cheer. I'll post it on Twitter. Ooh, okay. Got you. And then... Is there anything else that we're missing? What are we not appreciating more about Leona, King Scholar? We need to know. Is it his chest? His collarbone? Biceps? His biceps are being covered, though. His green, beautiful eyes. It all looks so cool. I wish I could get it, but it's so expensive. Yeah, that's that Barnes and Noble's price. Also, I don't think they charge tariffs on this because they published it in America, so it shouldn't apply. Beautiful hair, the amazing clothes. Yes, I love the way that the back of his hair is shaded. It's like a little nice gray gradient. All the Twisted Wonderland characters have like this gradient to their hair that I really like. And his staff is kind of slightly pulling his hair above. It's really good. He's perfect. He is. Okay. This is just the cover. What's inside? Watch how. Oh, look. Hold on. I know you see I know you see the in the corner of your eye you see the overblot Leona, but look at this first. Yuya Koroki, yeah. Yuya Koroki and the creature known as Grim are the newest students at the magical school known as Night Raven College. When a series of accidents plague the participants in the upcoming interdormity spell drive tournament, Yuya, Grim, and their friends from Heartseal Dorm take it upon themselves to investigate. Inspired by the classic Disney movie The Lion King, based on the popular mobile game Disney's Twisted-Wonderland, is from the wilds, features on original concept and art framed by the famed manga artist Yana Tomoso, creator of Black Butler. Yay. Simba, Scar. That's all you need to know. There's nothing behind this. It's just white. Okay, now how the hell am I gonna get this in frame? He cannot be captured on the camera. That's how good it is. Hakuna Matata. Yep. Fun fact, the opening words in the Circle of Life in the Lion King movie is, look, it's a lion. Oh my god, it's a lion. Yeah. Overvat Leona. Yeah. So this is not the full illustration because it can be pulled out like this. And it's like a little mini poster. I think they did actually like sell like bigger posters of this. Not of Leona, but of Riddle's art. For something. I totally forgot for what. But yeah. As you can see, like, the bending kind of like... I don't know if you can fix this. Low-key, if it's possible, I would like to take this picture out and, like, frame it somewhere. But I don't know. I don't want to ruin the... I don't want to ruin the book. But, yeah, let me try to get, like, all the details here. So this is, like, the bottom of the photo. You can see... like the robe, and then over here you see Leona King Scholar's face, his makeup, the tears running down his cheek, his wild hair. I'm trying to like get everything in frame. No, Leona, yeah, Leona, why? Don't overblot. No, this isn't you, please. I both want to take the poster out and I want to leave them in. Right? It's such a dilemma. Like I guess you could get like 2 books and ruin one, but like that's such a waste of money. Thank you, Scully, for the roses, by the way. Is there any more? There's his hand. Let me try to get his hand in frame here. Lord, please. Okay. There we go. I did it. I'm holding it like in this angle. It should be good. You can see Scar, the the bottle monster, overblot monster there. Hi, by the way, long time no chat. Hi, Sly. It's nice seeing you. And then here is the claw, his hand. Damn, he got long nails. And then you can see his tattoo. The only Twisted Wonderland character with a tattoo, right? And yeah, and then there's nothing in the back. It's just white. So I'm gonna fold this back up so we can continue reading. Phantom's version of Scar. Yes, the Phantom version. I totally forgot the word. I don't know why. But yeah, this is all black. It's just the title again. Disney mention. It looks so pretty. It is. I actually plan to rebind these at some point, most thanks to the gold flaking off the book 1, so maybe I'll take it out then. Really? It flaked for you? Oh, wow. It didn't flake for me, huh? I guess it gets worn down very easily if you touch it a lot. Where did I get this, Rose? I got this from Barnes and Noble. I pre-ordered it. But you could, I'm pretty sure if you go to like, oh, whoa. See, I don't know what's up with the camera. It flattened everything for like 2 seconds, and then now we're back to normal. Anyways, I got it at Barnes and Noble, so I got it like in person because they had like 2 in store, and I got like the second to last one. OMG Rose, have you seen the art set? Yes, I have. Yes, I've seen all the designs. Remember that live stream of like the guy who's like, yes, I've had every fruit from TikTok Live. I feel like I'm doing that with the RSA designs. They're really good. That's what I think about them. I think the RSA designs are really, 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 really good. And I like, camera having a scuff. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know why the camera's going crazy. But yeah. Written by Jun Hyoki. Original concept and cover art and illustrations by Yana Toboso. And translation and adaptation by Jocelyn Allen. Aline? No, Aline. Right? Yeah. Viz Media, thank you. And then more credits. As you can see, it tells you everybody. And then the addresses. First printing January 2020. Oh, interesting. So I got the first print. Contents. 1. Ursa from the Winds. Page 7. That's it. Only one part. So actually, this is actually shorter compared to the, what is it? The red Rose Hearts novel. Reginald or Kinokuniya would be your best place to find these books. Yeah, I think Kinokuniya would carry them in Japanese though, not English. At least the ones that I live nearby though. But yeah. See how, like, I'm gonna try to put them side by side so you can see if camera will allow me to. Alright. You see how this one's way more thicker than this one? There's more pages in the Heartsubu one. And it's bigger. Look at this. Hold on. Look at the corners. I'm putting it like on the bottom right corner. It's so much more bigger. Riddle. Oh my god. Don't call him short no more, guys. He got a lot. He got a lot to him. Anyways, whoa, that just screwed up. I patted the. If I pat again, will it fix it, or do I have to go like? Okay, cool, whatever. They both have E and JP over there. Oh, nice. And you can see Mufasa. Mufasa's, or is it Scar? I think it's supposed to be Scar, like holding on for dear life before dying. That's kind of messed up. Is it all compensating? Yeah. That's what I say. Okay. Anyways, time to read the story. So yeah, this is only one part, and it is shorter than riddles. Okay. Chapter 1. Okay, what song should I play for this? Let's see here. Let me see. Let me look at my my thingies. It needs to be like a chill song. What do they play at night? Guess this one? This is what they play? No, that's when's like something bad is about to happen. We just woke up. No way something bad is about to happen that quickly. This one, I guess? Okay. An old derelict dorm stood quietly in a corner of the famed arcane academy, Night Raven College. Wait, no, this is about Ramshackle. We have to play the poor music song that they play whenever we're in Ramshackle dorm. Where is that song? Oh, here it is. Okay. An old derelict dorm stood quietly in a corner of the famed arcane academy, Night Raven College. Surrounded by trees and set apart from other buildings on campus, the structure was sunk in shadow on even the sunniest of days. Is it too quiet? It should not be too quiet. It should be like very... You can hear it in the background. I can turn it up a little bit more. Can't hear it? Okay. I turned it up. Is it loud enough now? Bye. Thank you for coming. The Savannah Cloud dorm song. Kidding. Yeah. Bro, what the rat? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, nice. Yay. Oh, let me do the little bookmark thing because I think you guys liked it last time when I did this. So you can follow along with me. Surrounded by trees and set apart from the other buildings on campus, the structure was sunk in shadow on even the sunniest of days. A stagnant air hung over it. Oh my god, this is kind of hard because I'm looking at the camera. Broken down and falling apart, the dorm had clearly been neglected for quite some time. The exterior paint was faded and peeling, and holes dotted the rotting roof. Weeds had overtaken the yard, while the floors inside were so warped it was impossible to walk in a straight line across any of them. Most students and teachers stressed well clear of it. "You!" a voice rang out in a cheerless garden, as if pushing against the gloom. "Hurry it up, would ya? My arms are gonna give it out on me!" "Hang on a sec, I almost got it," you replied in a quiet voice. "You gotta hold it steadier, Grim." "Whoa! You think you can order me around, henchhuman?" crowed Grim. The dorm's current residents, the monster Grim, the human Yuya Kuraki, were Night Raven's college's newest... Hold on. I got this. Hold on. Oh, wait, notice? Wait, peep how it's on page 7? Seven statues. The great seven. Ooh. I'm kidding. Okay. Where's the music at? You guys seriously don't hear the music? It says it's playing. Oh, wait, did I not put it on the... Oops. Okay, let me see. Advance. Nope. Alright. Yeah. Forgot to add it in. Alright. Okay, it should be. Nope. Music be gone. Music, why? I hear only voice. Yes. I think TikTok hears it though. Wait, Rose, the music is a little loud? Okay. Alright. So TikTok had it like loud and you guys didn't hear it at all. Okay. Yeah, yes, I heard it. Wait, you heard it? What? Oh. Okay. I totally thought. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. You guys still hear it now, right? Put some 1s if you can hear it. And put a 2 if it's too loud. Put a 3 if it's like you don't hear it. Music has left the building again. Okay. 1. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, back on track. What were we saying? What was the sentence again? I totally lost track. Do Mally's humming, please. This is Leona's time to shine. Leona would literally freak out if I was reading his light novel and I was listening to Leona humming. The dorm's current residents, the monster Grim and the human Yuya Kuruki, were Night Raven College's newest students, and a bit of an oddity at the university. Yuya had been suddenly and mysteriously whisked away. Mysteriously whisked away from his homeworld to this magic-filled place known as Twisted-Wonderland. Yuya was an utterly average human with no magical abilities, and no one could understand why he was here or how to send him back home. Grim, meanwhile, was a furry gray creature with a round face and a round body. He vaguely resembled a weasel or a cat standing on 2 legs. He had magical abilities and the ambition to become one of the greatest mages who ever lived. Though his impulsiveness often got him into trouble, despite Yuya's lack of magic and Grim's volatile temperament, the two had managed to prove their mettle, and the school's head mage, Dyer Crowley, had allowed them to matriculate into the student body as one joint student, meaning that Yuya was supposed to keep Grim in line while Grim performed the magical task Yuya could not. No, where's my Yuka? Yeah. Yuya has taken over the light novel. Also, I'm surprised how much they're recapping. I thought they would just get into the meat of it, but I guess not. The two were hard at working repairing the storm shutters, sweat beaded on their foreheads in the pleasant October breeze as Grim stood on a ladder holding the shutter in place while Yuya fastened the hinges. The fact that this took place in October, Leona's Overblot, it happened this month, right? That they had to have like Halloween right after. That's crazy. However, given that neither of them had ever fixed a storm shutter before, the work wasn't progressing smoothly. Over and over, the shutter slipped down, and over they hoisted it back up until they finally managed to secure it in place just as 3 ghosts materialized through the wall and hovered before them. Bro, the ghosts in this light novel are so... Oh, it happened again. I freaked out. Okay, we're good now. They're so nice. Like, they're so nice. They're so much more nice than then they appear in the game. Little crooked, ain't it? Noodled one ghost. The 3 phantoms laughed as they cast critical eyes on the shutter Yuya had just fastened. Hope you guys can still see good here. The ghosts had made Ramshackle Dorm, as it was called, their home since before living memory. They were Yuya and Grimm's upperclassmen, as it were. While they weren't scary ghosts, they were quite mischievous and showed up to tease Yuya and Grimm in this fashion on a daily basis. Is it? Yuya asked, cocking his head and tapping the wooden shutter. Well, it'll close at any rate. I think it's fine. Hopeless, said one of the ghosts as he shook his head sadly. The kids these days don't even learn woodworking. If you don't like it, go ahead and fix it yourself, Grimm growled as he tossed aside a paper carton containing the screws, his hackles fully raised. Grimm the Mighty is done! The monster was not exactly known for his patience. Yuya was surprised at how long he lasted and at the real effort he had made to fix the shutters. With a wry smile, Yuya picked up the paper carton. Though it was afternoon, the weeds running rampant in the yard were still dewy, and he felt a chill in his fingertips as they brushed against the weeds. It was always cold at Ramshackle Dorm, as it was perpetually in shadow. Yeah, we're like broke. We're still like so broke. As Yuya stared blandly at his dorm, he heard the sound of footsteps on wet grass behind him. He turned to find his classmates Ace, Trapula, and Deuce Spade walking toward them. Grimm! Quit slacking off! Ace yelled as he handed Yuya a bunch of screws. Yuya had asked Ace and Deuce to take care of repairs on the south side, and they had apparently finished the task. Jeez, you, Ace said. You can't let Grimm off so easy. Makes me look like an idiot. I mean, I gave up my precious weekend to come help and all. Sorry, Yuya stammered an apology. He was actually helping until a minute ago. Hey, Deuce! Yeah! Hey, Deuce! You love them. Okay. Just ignore him, Deuce told Yuya as he jabbed Ace with his elbow. Like, you're the one to talk. All you did was just watch. I did pretty much all the work back there. He looked at the shutter Yuya and Grimm had attached to the building out of the corner of his eye, probably bothered by the crookedness the ghost had noticed. You think it'll be okay like that, Yuya asked, and Deuce reached out to open and close the shutter a few times before retightening the screws on the hinges. He moved quickly, like the work was familiar. Once he was done, Yuya thought the shutter looked much closer to level. Wow, he exclaimed. You're good at this, Deuce. Handyman Deuce, let's go. Thank you for the heart, Diana. You haven't been there for life? Welcome. My first favorite is at Ortho. Yeah, mine's Jack. Mine's all of them. Honestly, no, I lied. Sebek. Sebek is hilarious. Okay. I might not be able to build a whole house, but I can handle this much at least. Deuce, what? Is that the norm? To build like a whole house? Okay. Deuce said as he patted his own chest proudly. I used to do this kind of thing all the time at home. Just say the word if you run into trouble again. Okay, thanks, Yuya said, smiling. Ace raised a skeptical eyebrow. Only Deuce gets to thank you? Hello? I hope too, you know. Of course, I'm grateful to you too, Ace, Yuya said. Ramshackle Dorm still needed a lot of work, but he figured their efforts today helped bring it up to the bare minimum required to be livable. Yo, help Yuya, please. As Yuya thanked Ace and Deuce again, Grimm stood neatly next to him and crossed his arms. You guys did good, Grimm said with a satisfied nod. Now the wind won't be so loud and I'm finally gonna sleep like a log tonight. Yuya stared at him in disbelief. Grimm, you slept like a log last night, and the night before, and every night, basically. Oh, how often had he looked enviously at Grimm snoring away happily beside him? Whenever a strong wind blew, it pushed in through the gaps around the windows of Ramshackle Dorm and made shrill whistling noises that sounded exactly like a person screaming. Oh, wow. This is a haunted house. The nights were scary, and every so often the dangling storm shutters abruptly slammed against the windows, like they just remembered they weren't there. Each time you had jumped in terror, very nearly hitting the ceiling. The ghost hummed as they frowned. But the screaming wind is what makes the place so tasteful and refined. Look, it's not supposed to be a haunted house, Ace said, exasperated. A normal person would run screaming in the other direction if they had to live with that. There was another major issue besides the noise. An autumn stretched on. Yuya had really started to feel the chill coming through the windows that night, and he worried that they'd freeze to death when the serious cold weather arrived. Gotta get it sorted before winter comes, Yuya had muttered. Oh wait, I thought that was Grim. Oopsie. Gotta get it sorted before winter comes, Yuya had muttered at lunch day one day. Overhearing this, Ace and Deuce had taken pity on him and offered to help, and at last the storm shutter repair was finished. Sorry guys, Yuya said as he noticed the deepening angle of the sun. It's finally the weekend and I roped you into wasting your whole day on repairs. It's only natural for an honor student to help out a classmate in need, right? Deuce replied casually. Hugh couldn't help but think this was a very Deuce thing to say. Given that he'd set his sights on becoming an honor student, he also knew that Deuce's main motivation for helping him lay elsewhere, which made Yuya smile. You're so adorable! But because this is the Usurpers from the Winds, the novel. Okay. Sure enough, Deuce met Ace's eyes. He grinned and said, "We're not working for free here, yeah?" Exactly, Ace said triumphantly. Don't think we forgot you promised to treat us at the bakery tomorrow. Oh, is tomorrow the day the bakery sets up shop here? One ghost asked. All three of the plum ghosts cried out in delight. Ooh, yeah, they got the good stuff. Can ghosts eat? He asked himself. The chef at the cafeteria was a ghost, and you always wondered how he tasted what he was cooking. A lot of things about the ramshackle ghosts and ghosts in general are just so weird. They can have babies. They have day offs. They can touch things and cook. They can also go through things. They can maybe eat. They can play. They're very complex. Like, how do they work? They don't work like normal ghosts. And where do ghost babies come from? Like, how does that genuinely work? I'm just so confused. Ghost lore. Yeah. I wish I was a ghost. Hey, man. Hey, no. Being human has its aspects. Being a ghost is just changing your species, I guess. I think the baby one was noted as weird, wasn't it? It was weird, yeah. And Crowley was like, don't ask questions or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Hi, is this Rose Red? No, Savannah Claw. Ta-da! I'm just gonna show Leona's face every time someone asks that then. Okay. Can ghosts eat? Yuya asked himself. The chef at the cafeteria was a ghost, and Yuya always wondered how he tasted when he was cooking. He once asked Ace and Deuce, but hadn't understood the answer. Yep, Deuce said with a smile. The bakery from the town comes up once a month, and the upperclassmen said all their food is super good. I was wanting to try it, so I thought, perfect timing. Ooh, I'm gonna shout out too! Grim shouted excitedly. You're the one doing the buying, man, Ace said as he plucked Grim up off the ground. The flailing monster kicked to Deuce, and as Deuce yelled angrily, the ghost laughed their unusual staccato laughter. Okay. Come on, guys. The mood was lively, and the place was full of energy that didn't match the ramshackle's dorm's nickname. The thought had occurred to you before, but looking at the building now, he felt the dorm gained more spirit with every passing day. With its new residents, it was almost like the structure itself was breathing with renewed life. He felt like the dorm was even welcoming him and Grim. Nonetheless, despite everyone's good cheer, Yuya didn't laugh as readily as his friends. Whoa. He stood absently as the smallest of the ghosts came up to him. What's up? The small ghost asked. You look kind of blue. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. It's nothing, Yuya said, his hesitant words trailing off into a sigh. I was just thinking how tomorrow's the start of another week. When Ace saw the look on Yuya's face, he nodded as if he understood. Oh, okay, I get it, Ace said. You don't want to go back to school, so you're already getting bummed about it, huh? More or less. Yuya sighed again. I hear that. Dang, Grim said and shook his know-it-all head. I ain't too in love with those stupid classes neither. It's not class though, yeah? Ace said. It's because a bunch of dudes you don't even know are gonna go after you again. Yuya nodded listlessly. It had been a month since Yuya and Grim were admitted to Night Raven College, the prestigious arcade academy located in the world known as Twisted-Wonderland. He's expected to settle into his new life with the passage of time as things quieted down, but because of the recent episode with Riddle, his life instead grown more chaotic. Was there a soul at Night Raven College who hadn't heard the rumors about Yuya? It seemed like everyone was still talking about what had happened. Up to then, Artibule housewarden Riddle Rosehearts had ruled Artibule Dorm with an iron fist and strict rules. Everyone assumed his tyranny would continue until he moved off campus during his 4th year. But then, Riddle had grossly misused his magic while deranged and overblotted. Blot accumulates as the price for using magic. When a blot overflows, a phenomenon known as overblot occurs. Which can endanger the sorcerer's life. Riddle had become so enraged when the Heartsville dorm students had pushed back against his authority, his overuse of magic coupled with his poor mental state had resulted in his overblotting, causing an enormous destructive monster to materialize, which then started wreaking havoc on the Heartsville garden, as one does. You know, normal behavior. It is rare, however, for enough of the sediment to build up in his body to reach the level of overblotting. Even in the magic-filled world of Twisted-Wonderland, the phenomenon was almost unheard of. That it had occurred at a legendary arcane academy was unprecedented. Riddle had survived the event, but was now forced to face hard truth about his actions as household. This incident had largely involved Heartsville dorm students, yet another dorm had also been caught up in it. The newly created ramshackle dorm, its members numbered only 2. Yuya Kuroki, a human from another world who couldn't use magic, and the magical creatures Grim. They were both first-year students who had been admitted to the academy by headmage Crowley himself. I'm going to switch up the music real quick. Just give me 1 second. Excuse me. Thank you for the follow. They were both first-year students who had been admitted to the academy by headmage Crowley himself. Though Yuya had not had a major part in directly confronting Riddle, his presence at the battle and the unusual circumstances of his admittance to the college had ignited a flurry of rumors, presuming Yuya was an exceptional and potentially powerful first year the other students needed to watch out for. Yuya started to feel dizzy. I mean, I was hardly a part of the whole incident with Riddle, he said anxiously. I was only there tagging along with you guys. Ace, I'm not a special first-year student. The point is that it's partly true, Deuce said, looking troubled. I get asked about you all the time too, man, Ace said, grinning. And it's like, I can't say they got it all wrong or flat out deny it, you know? But you can deny it, Yuya protested. Lately, people have been coming to our classroom to check me out. At first I thought I was just imagining it, but I think it's probably because of the rumors. Well, I guess you hear a story like that, and you're gonna be all like, how amazing is the first year anyway, yeah? Ace responded, shaking his head. Now that you mention it, I did see you talking with some guy from another class on Friday, he mused. He blinked rapidly, as though he had just remembered. I thought he was a friend of yours, but he was actually just a random student? Yuya nodded slowly. Yeah, he said. If you hadn't come along, Deuce, I probably would have killed over on the spot. Okay, now you're being dramatic. Actually, you're not, are you? Deuce sighed. You would pass out. Yuya considered himself utterly average. But even he had one thing that set him apart from most other people. He loathed fighting. He could hardly look at two people arguing about a trivial dispute without becoming nervous. He would do pretty much anything to avoid a fight. Unfortunately, despite this, a significant number of the students at Night Raven College now viewed him as a potential new rival. The Arcane Academy's students were very proud, and rumors of a special first-year student stirred their fighting spirit. This had resulted in a never-ending line of hostile people approaching Yuya. Each time a voice called out, You? Sorry. It's just so funny to me. You mumbled some responses before running away. Give you a pepper spray or something? Yeah. Thank you guys for the follows. Hi Rose, just joined. Feels like a teacher reading to her teachers. Yes. It's fun. So what? Grim said, wrinkling his little black nose. You got these guys coming around wanting to get up all in it? Well, I ain't letting anyone look down their noses at Ramshackle Dorm. Give me their names. I'll knock him into next week. Real. Grim is so real. Aww. So cute. Mr. Grim, do not do that, Yuya commanded. Well, you can't take it too seriously, Ace said, bursting out laughing as if the image of Grim knocking anyone into next week was incredibly hilarious. You slap Yuya on the back. People will stop talking before you know it. You just gotta tough it out until they do. That's easy for you to say, Yuya murmured. Ace had a more significant part in facing down Riddle while he caught in the berserker rage of Orblot and had battled him directly, but the rumors about Yuya had taken on a life of their own and drawn everyone's attention. Ace wasn't getting the same kind of negative attention, and he didn't have to deal with any of the hassles that Yu's infamy had drummed up. Perhaps Ace felt somewhat indebted to you for this. You were actually fitting in a lot more in class, he said, consolingly. Am I? Yuya asked. I feel like nothing's really changed. No, the guys in class are definitely open up to you more, Deuce chimed in. Anyway, it's not good to dwell on things, okay? Yuya knew Deuce was trying to cheer him up, but he couldn't shake the oppressive weight on his heart. Ace and Deuce looked at Yuya and his long face, then at each other, and shrugged. Damn, they said get over it. That night, Yu's sleep was light, and he rolled over at a quiet murmuring of the wind, like the sound of water flowing. Ooh. Oh, I know what's next! Okay, hold on, let me set it up. What book is this? This is Usurper of the Wind. Okay, which one? Is this it? Is this the song? I don't know what song it is, actually. Yep. Ooh! Yuya is a different Yu. This is book Yu. Completely different from the manga Yu. Wow. I'm trying to get like all the pictures in frame. Oh. Wait, that was it? Oh, maybe I read? Oh, no. Okay, no, that's it. That's all we get. Alright, wake up time. Okay, hold on. I thought they were gonna add more to it. I guess not. Question mark. Thank you, let me sleep for the sub. I hope you fall asleep good. Alright. This should... Whoa, wait, no, wrong. Wait, I'm skipping ahead. Okay, there we go. Is Yuya the same for Heartsteel novel? Yes, it is the same person from the Heartsteel novel. So, for all novels, it's the same Yuya. A loud roar yanked Yuya out of sleep into a wakefulness. Upon opening his eyes, he realized he was looking at a patched floor of Ramshackle Dorm. Meow! 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 Grim murmured to himself. Yuya looked to his side and found Grim cozily asleep in the middle of the bed. Having pushed Yuya to the edge, Grim's rounded stomach was facing up toward the ceiling, and Yuya realized the monster had just been talking in his sleep. Yuya had awakened from yet another strange dream, one of the extremely vivid visions he had occasionally since arriving in Twisted-Wonderland. He pressed a hand to his pounding heart and slowly exhaled. He almost couldn't believe it. It had only been a dream. The vision was so intense and realistic. It had felt like he really been in a grassland. Sunlight shining through a gap in the clouds, with this chirping and chattering of animals all around him. He could even feel the force of the wind blowing past his ears. Damn, did he get transported into the movie? Still dazed, he shook his head and checked the time. Grim, wake up, he said, shaking the monster. Perhaps the morning sun pouring in through the curtains was simply too bright for him. But Grim rolled over with a displeased "Wah," and was soon talking in his sleep again. As Yuya watched him, he was overcome with the desire to go back to sleep as well. But he resisted the urge with a mental pep talk and wrapped his hands around Grim. He shifted the creature's limp, warm body to the floor to get him moving, and then he got out of bed himself. It was Monday morning. Another week was starting. Alright, let me play this song. This one takes a hot minute for it to load in. Oh wait, no, this is not it. Oops. Okay. Next time we see him, we should come up with a distress call or something true. Nigerian College had 5 first-year classes. The students were sorted into 7 primary dorms, not including the newly formed ramshackle dorm, based on the nature of the soul they possessed. But they were shuffled into classes essentially at random, so that each class had roughly an equivalent number of students from each dorm. Though Yuya's first-year Class A had an equal distribution of students from every dorm, socialization outside dorm boundaries rarely went beyond superficial interactions. Strong interdorm rivalries existed due to the school's competitive culture, and it seemed like Yuya witnessed a fight of some kind every day, so he was pretty much always holding his breath. Yuya and Grim walked toward their usual desks at the back of the classroom. Students were free to take whatever seat they wanted, and Yuya had settled into this spot since starting school. Ace and Deuce greeted them as they approached. "Morning, you and Grim," Ace said. "Good morning, here's to another week of hard work," Deuce said. Ace and Deuce had chosen the seats in front of you and Grim as the regular seats. Yuya said good morning as his eyes drifted toward another Heartseal student who had arrived with his friends. "Morning, you," the boy said with a smile. "Oh, morning," Yuya replied awkwardly. He nodded slightly before settling into his seat near the window. Ace turned around and set his elbows on Yuya's desk. "How long before you stop jumping like a scared rabbit anytime anyone says hi to you?" "I'm not jumping," Yuya protested. "I just don't know how to act." Ever since the Overblot incident with Riddle, Heartseal students talked to Yuya from time to time, like this boy. While students from other dorms felt hostile to him, Yuya knew that Heartseal students were saying hi to be nice. "Think you the chosen one, cat, for the sub?" That didn't mean he knew how he was supposed to act in return. "Oh, come on," Ace said, laughing at the bewildered Yuya. "You're not actually going to play like you're a meek little guy now, are you? It won't work, man. I mean, our entire dorm saw you yelling at the housewarden to stop fighting." "I didn't, though," Yuya said weakly. "That's right. You here wasn't getting all yelly," Grim proclaimed as he puffed his chest out proudly. "Grim the Mighty was the one giving that little tyrant what for." "Maybe don't go calling our warden a tyrant," he said with a frown. "Dude," Ace said, shaking his head. "I hate to say it since you know it's our dorm, but you can't deny that he is." "Guys, he changed! Riddle changed! He went through changes, come on! Please, he's not a tyrant anymore. He's an ex-tyrant. It's a difference." I want to sit next to Silver Jamila. Yeah, me too. I want to sit next to Cleam, actually, the most. The classroom was buzzing with chatter of students when their homeroom teacher, Professor Crowell, walked in, holding his teacher's pointer in the red leather-gloved hand. "Puppies!" he called. "Sit down and quit your pointless howling." The class instantly fell silent, and Crowell narrowed his eyes, seemingly satisfied. "Good boys." Homeroom hasn't always begun so smoothly. Most new students at the academy were quite rebellious at first, and they made a big commotion at the start of class, even after the professor arrived. But over the past month, the first-year students had learned firsthand not to disobey Crowell. Now, not a single student so much as dreamed of pushing back. Carell went over the students' duty shifts, changes in class locations, and other basic information for the week. There were also messages from other teachers. I got word from Professor Train that some of you fell asleep in his animal linguistics class last week, he said. For the students in question, you know who you are, yes? I needn't spell it out. Ooh. The number of students who subsequently hung their heads could have counted on the fingers of both hands. Next to Yuya, Grim averted his eyes. So did Ace. The diligent Juice looked at the pair in exasperation, asking, why did you even come to Night Ribbon College if all you're going to do is fall asleep in class? It's just that class is so boring, Grim shot back. Yuya was inclined to agree. Train's lectures were so long-winded and monotonous. They practically hypnotized students into falling asleep. Nonetheless, the class was something of a blessing for Yuya, since all he had to do for now was sit and listen, which was precisely why this class was less popular with other students. When this class eventually moved to practical applications, however, magic would be required, so Yuya wanted to make sure to study hard now so that later he could help with his partner Grim. Aw, Yuya. Should we make a great audiobook narrator? Would he? They said they all fall asleep. Well, I guess he'd be really good if you want to fall asleep, but if you want to pay attention, maybe it's not the best. It is quite the bother to have Professor Train turn his attention toward our class. He is a stubborn man and does not understand jokes, Curl continued. Yo, Curl is that teacher that would just give you like random beef. Like, hello? Okay, are we supposed to know this? I don't think we're supposed to know this, but okay. He noticed some students giggling and cleared his throat. Thus, from now on, you will sit up straight and pay attention. Do not bring shame on me by being poorly behaved little puppies. Understood? He glared at the class. Understood! Students chorused. Finally, Pearl continued, we have a message from Professor Vargas. Practice for the Spell Drive tournament begins today, so use of the sports field for club practices will be limited. Those of you who normally use the field, be warned. Professor Vargas will be contacting each dorm with the detailed schedule. The classroom immediately exploded in excited chatter. It's finally time for the Spell Drive tournament, huh? Deuce said as he slapped Ace on the shoulder. They slap each other a lot. They slap each other more than I think they did, than I thought they did. Hi Jay, thanks for coming. I love this so much. It reminds me when my one friend read my one friend group of story. Oh, it's so nice. Honestly, this is really fun too. And there's like so many details. I'm eating up all the details that we don't get in the game and in the manga and in the anime. This is so yummy, so delicious. Yum yum yum. The classroom immediately exploded in excited chatter. I even read that. I figured it'd be coming up pretty quick here. Ace grinned in response. I can't wait, man, he said. I'd be even more psyched if I got picked for the team, though. You? Hughes arched a skeptical eyebrow. Forget it. You obviously don't stand a chance. You don't know that, Ace protested. I mean, it doesn't matter what year you're in. All that counts is how good you are. And dude, come on. I know you're secretly hoping you get picked too. Oh. As the two argued back and forth, Yuya whispered to Grim, Hey, what's Spell Drive? Grim shrugged, a blank look on his face, and said, I got no idea either. Literally anything when it comes to Twisted-Wonderland, you just looks to Grim. Grim doesn't know anything, and we're just lost. We're just sitting there like, damn. Well, sounds fun, I guess. Thank you, Cater Diamond, for the heart buff. Oh, God. You're doing great, sweetie. Their voices grew a bit too loud, and the entire class looked at Yuya and Grim in shock. Dude, you, Ace said tentatively. You've never heard of the Spell Drive? Yuya hummed with a frown. So, is it a game? it's a world famous sport, Luis replied, also surprised. There's even a pro league and a world championship tournament. You've really never heard of it? I guess to them, it's like someone saying they never heard of like soccer before. So, Yuya racked his brain, but he really had no idea what they were talking about. However, with spell in the name, he guessed the sport used magic and only existed in Twisted-Wonderland. He could have explained his lack of knowledge, but when he realized that the whole class was staring at him, he shrank back and his voice grew quieter. No, never, he said, hanging his head and setting off a whole new commotion among his classmates. No, I hate this! Oh, so like volleyball, yeah. Grim, perhaps feeling that was a target of mockery too, stood up on his own chair and proclaimed, "You can't know what you don't know! Jeez, you got a problem with that?" You suppose Grim had been so focused on trying to gain entry into Nightroom College in the first place that he never paid any mind to the sport. "No one's saying it's a problem," said the hard-to-boo student agreed Yuya earlier. The other students from the different dorms snorted with laughter. "Yeah, we're just surprised is all, right? Right? Okay, yup, it's like you were living under a rock or something. I mean, everybody knows spell drive," another shouted. "So you are making fun!" Grim snarled. "Be quiet, Grim! Down!" Quirrell roared. "Apologies. It appears I was not sufficiently considerate of our new students." He directed his pointer at the chalk resting on the ledge of the blackboard. It floated up into the air and began to sketch lines on the blackboard of a rectangular court with a large circle in the center of each of the shortest ends, which appeared to be goals. No, I hate this. No, I hate it when teachers are like, "Oh, you don't know? Let me explain it to the whole class." When the entire class knows but you. Like, no. Grim, he stood up for you. He really did. He's a real one. Why did Quirrell scold Grim, but not the bullies? Yeah, I know. Someone, tell us the rules of spell drive, briefly, Quirrell demanded. Everyone looked at everyone else. Well then, Chapula. The teacher called out Ace by name, perhaps because he was sitting near Yuya. "Me?" Ace said with a frown. Then he explained quickly. Spell drive is a sport played by competing teams of 7. Basically, players battle for control of a disc and earn points by driving it into the enemy's team goals. The team with the most points wins. Wait, I didn't know there was only 7 people. They probably mentioned it, but I forgot. You know who else is 7? The Overbladders. The House Wardens. A lot of people. They totally do this all the time. Yeah. Good, Quirrell said. Yuya repeated Ace's explanation to himself as he looked at the board once more. He didn't know the game's details, but it seemed similar to soccer or American football in his homeworld. When he was in high school, his parents had suggested he join either sport. They were concerned he wasn't being social enough when he didn't join any clubs in high school. He refused because soccer and football, though games, still felt like a form of fighting to him, and he was definitely not interested in that. His parents had laughed, half in exasperation, saying they guessed he might say that. Damn! You scared the crap out of me. I thought you were gonna make it a pretty much. Oh, sorry. No. But now that you brought it up, should I say it? 6, 7. You can see me do the hand motions now too. Okay. However, when Yuya offered up his comparison of spell drive to the sports he knew, Quirrell put a ponderous hand to his chin. No. Yeah. Hey, you brought it up. I'm gonna say it. Sorry. Quirrell put a ponderous hand to his chin. Apologies, Quirrell said. I have not heard of a sport called American football. And spell drive is quite different from soccer. Wait, what is soccer? Grim looked back and forth between Yuya and Quirrell. Wait a minute. America doesn't exist in Twisted-Wonderland? There's no... I guess it makes sense because American football, it's in the name. Nope. Yeah. Flashbacks to Houseman rule number 6 step. Yep. If the Housemans weren't at each other's throats, they would make a scary team. Oh, they would 100%. Ban it in the chat. Okay. I won't bring it up again. I promise. I promise. I promise. Apparently not. Yeah. Wait. Yuya suddenly understood how his classmates felt when he revealed his ignorance of spell drive. We'll never be done at this rate. Krell pinched the space between his eyebrows with a sigh. Grim, have you explain soccer to you later. At the moment, we're discussing the major characteristics of spell drive. Deuce, continue. Deuce looked at Yuya and Grim before continuing, saying, magic is the basis for spell drive. Not only do you move the disc with magic, but you use it to attack and defend too. Huh! Grim grunted with his eyes shone. So it's all magic? Sounds pretty cool. Oh, that makes sense, Yuya said with a slow nod. That's why it's called spell drive. Exactly, Krell agreed. Our academy is known throughout the world as a leader in the sport. Some of my classmates even went on to become professional players. You remember that Krell had also graduated from Niven College. What? Who? Demanded a chorus of voices from the students at the front of the classroom. As Krell named his former classmates, the other students got even more excited, though none of the players meant anything to you, who was beginning to understand how popular spell drive was. And so our graduates are actively making their marks. Even in the arena of professional sport, Krell said, and why is that? Because, as Zeus noted, spell drive pits magical abilities against magical ability. The chalk drew a disc on the board with 2 stick figures on either side. Krell continued, it is strictly against the rules to physically touch the disc, and thus players use magic to hold it aloft. But, whoa! Okay, we're back to normal. What was I saying? But because the disc is constructed so that it absorbs magic, sophisticated techniques are required to keep in the air. Controlling it becomes even more difficult when attempting to pass or score, meaning foolish puppies can scarcely manage to catch or release it. Canon Krell cannot draw. I hope. No, wait, then they wouldn't. I guess he would be like a horrible fashion designer if he can't draw too. You weren't using the magic to hold the book a lot, Rose. That's why the camera propels. Yeah. The chalk figures on the board began to move, and the sight of the chalk figures coming to life. Whoa! In class never failed to surprise you, no matter how many times that you saw it. I want to see that animated. What the hell, anime? One stick person threw the disc from the end of the field toward the goal at the opposite end. Ooh. The disc moved quickly at first, but gradually lost speed until it was snatched out of the air by another stick person's magic and started moving in a different direction. Yuya supposed that meant the disc had gotten too far from the thrower and the magic no longer reached it, or the disc had absorbed all the magic the thrower had used, which allowed someone from the other team to steal it. If this was a sport where magic was everything, then it made sense that a famed arcane academy would have a strong team. But this was apparently not the only reason why spell drive was so popular at Niven College. The chalk slid across the blackboard thanks to Krell's magic, spelling out a Japanese character that read as magic to Yuya, even though the chalk's movement didn't follow the strokes for that character. It reminded Yuya that he was a stranger in this land. For him, some unexplained magic was automatically translating this world's language into his native language, Japanese. He remembered the moment when he had first arrived in Twisted-Wonderland. He realized that his ears were hearing Japanese, but his mouth was forming different shapes and syllables than what he was expecting, apparently speaking this world's language. Krell turned his pointer toward the classroom. However, magic is not the only requirement for spell drive, he continued. Physical fitness is obviously critical to outpace a speedy opponent or beat another to the disc. Wait, hold on, let me switch up the music. I'm getting tired of this one. I want another one. Nippon, yeah. Onjito Snavel, yeah. Krell turned his pointer to the classroom. However, magic is not the only requirement for spell drive. He continued, physical fitness is obviously critical to outpace a speedy opponent or beat another player to the disc. Naturally, it goes without saying that one must have the brains to strategize a game plan. A leader who is unable to communicate orders accurately to a group of puppies, unable to understand commands to begin with, well, that would be an unspeakably awful sight. The words body and mind were written on the board. Spell Drive is a sport that requires a balance of intelligence, physical stamina, and magic. Do you understand? Yuya and Grim both answered yes, and Krill nodded, satisfied. It seemed like a difficult game, but it was a sort of challenge students at Naven College clearly enjoyed. Ace happily told Yuya all about how proud they were of being a leading school in Spell Drive. The Interdawn tournament at Night Raven College is like a sight to behold, okay? He gushed. You got these famous magical folks and pro league recorders, special guests all showing up, and then there's these kiosks, right? Oh my god. Crammed together, selling all kinds of stuff. So it's all busy and bumping like a festival. I know because they show it on TV and it's broadcast all over the world. Oh yeah, the Spell Drive special, Deuce said, just as passionately as Ace. I used to watch that at home. Spell Drive at other schools doesn't even begin to compare. So a school event is even broadcast on TV? You asked, son? Wow. What? Grim was even more impressed. He had been thoroughly uninterested and casually swinging his legs the whole time until Corella was explaining the rules, but the moment Ace and Deuce started talking about TV and special guests, his tail shot up. It's broadcast all over the world? So you're saying that if I were to play in this tournament, the whole world would see it? Uh-huh. Well, yeah, I guess they would. I mean, if you were out there making great plays, Ace said. From the way he and Deuce were talking, Grim thought it sounded like a lot of people tuned in for the tournament broadcast. And a player who really shone on the field would no doubt quickly become famous. Grim put his paws on the desk and jumped up and down with glee. Yes! Grim cried. It's settled then! I'm gonna train around the clock and become a legend! Class was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Then everyone burst out laughing. It's so mean! Everybody in this room is so mean! Some laughing so hard that tears were rolling down their faces. Like anyone would let you on the field, Grim, laughed a student. What the what? The monster demanded. The student exploded in laughter again. Think about it for maybe 2 seconds, you dodo. The other students were gasping for breath after laughing so hard. Seriously, man? Another student panted. Did you not hear the interdorm part of that? Dang. Oh, man. A team's got to have 7 people, another boy said. But Ramshackle Storm's only got you. And you can't even use magic. Cry all you want, but facts are facts. Yeah, said someone else. Your derm doesn't have enough players, so you're out. It's simple as that. Doesn't matter if your plays are good or not. You dare, Grim snarled. Listen, bub. I'm a student at Naven College. I can be in the Spell Drive tourney if I want, yeah? Yeah! He looked at Krill for help, but the teacher shook his head. And numbers are what they are, Krill said. I understand how you might be feeling, but we can't change the rules for one student. You'll simply have to give up on Spell Drive this year and hope that more students in the next year's incoming class join your dorm. No fair! Grim was in full temper tantrum mode. Krill's stern expression making clear this really was the end of the line. I want to be on TV! I want everyone in the world fighting over me! Did you see that playground day? Well, you get what I'm saying? He kicked and flailed on top of the link desk so violently it startled Yuya. Oh my god. Grim, calm down, Yuya said, attempting to stop his partner, but the monster ignored him. Panda, this is a novel. Official Twisted-Wonderland novel. Ace and Deuce looked at Grim in exasperation. Your delusions are oddly pacific, dude, Ace remarked. Kick and scream all you want, it won't change anything. And like, it's actually wild you just assume you'd be the star if you get on the field. Classic Grim right there, huh? Yeah, Deuce agreed. After all, he didn't even know the rules 5 seconds ago. Grim, did you not get that the spell drives seriously, did you not get that spell drives seriously hard? I thought Professor Crowell made that pretty clear. They were exactly right. There was no doubt the rest of the class thought the same thing. You could hear sneers and laughter from every corner. Grim let out a quiet groan, and you immediately clamped a hand over Grim's mouth. The last thing they needed was the monster spewing fire all over the classroom. He had his doubts about whether Ramshackle Dorm was considered equal to the other 7 dorms, but when it came to an official tournament like this, they didn't have much choice but to give up. Grim, I can't play a game that uses magic anyway, he said, trying to placate the monster. And even you would have a hard time being a team of 1. But this is my chance to leap onto the world stage! Grim slumped over like he was melting onto the desk. The shoulders of a student from Savannah Claw Dorm shook with laughter. That ramshackle dorm of yours is nowhere close to being the same league as our dorm. As if you ever had a hope playing in the tournament. No way we're letting you drag us down with your idiocity when we finally get our big moment in the sun. Oh my god. Ha! Got a little Savannah Claw, someone muttered. That's some big talk from a dorm that keeps losing. Uh-oh. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Oh wait, no, not that one. Okay. The mood in the classroom changed. What the hell? Why does it keep changing? I don't want that. Bring me the other music. No? Okay. Shots fired, yeah. The mood in the classroom changed instantly. The Savannah Claw student stood up, face stern, his dorm armband clearly visible in his dorm mates quickly turned with him. Hey! He demanded. What'd you say? Ah, sorry, you heard that. I didn't mean to tell the truth there, the other student said with a laugh. He had a yellowish green and black Diasmania armband, as did the boys sitting in the seats around him. He looked at the Savannah Claw student and rather deliberately cocked his head to one side. I'm just concerned, you know, acting like you're all that when it's obvious we and Diasmania are gonna crush you again this year. You're gonna be so embarrassed later. Diasmania for the win. The upperclassmen are worried too, you know, another Diasmania student chimed in. I mean, you lost your first match 2 years in a row. You're a pale shadow of a team you used to be. I heard you might actually start losing dorm members over it. Oh? Oh, I didn't know it was that serious. Over here and say that, growled the Savannah Claw student as he lunged at the Diasmania group. How about we square off right here and right now? We'll see who's the best, shouted another Diasmania student. Diasmania for the win! Don't make me laugh! Your dorm only wins because of Malice Draconia and his power. That monster. The rest of y'all don't even do anything. In the face of brawny Savannah Claw students shouting and threatening them, the Diasmania students had been the picture of calm. However, at this statement, the looks on their faces changed. Oh my god. Is this a second out? Yes, it is. Monster. Why you? The Diasmania student replied icily. You don't even have the guts to go and say that to our house warden's face. Ooh! Ate him up, low-key. The students glared at each other, both sides growing angrier by the second. Somehow, Grim's selfish grumbling had initiated a full-fledged fight. Yuya shrank into himself nervously, while the other students sat back and watched, amused. They're so messy. I hate this college. Oh my god. Ace and Deuce also looked uninclined to step it up and stopped them rolling their eyes as if to say, here they go again. Be quiet! Professor Crowell's bellow cut through the rest in the classroom. Quit your pointless howling over such petty nonsense. You are less than puppies! Oh, the teacher's rage shocked the room into silence, and the students winced, bracing themselves for a harsh lecture. Luckily, the bell for the first period rang at that moment. That's all for homeroom, Corel huffed. The entire class heaved a sigh of relief as a grumpy Corel left the room, and they hurried get ready for class. Yuya felt the tension slide out of his shoulders. Saved by the bell, he whispered, grateful that the unbearable fighting was over. Grim continued sulking as they walked to their first class and through all their morning classes. He could not accept that he wouldn't be allowed to play in the Spell Drive tournament. Hey, come on, cheer up already, Yuya said as they headed toward the cafeteria. He could only see the top of Grim's head because the monster's ejected ears were drooping and hiding his face. Actually, no, let's play this. We're drooping and hiding his face. We get to have bread from the bakery for lunch today, you know, like we promised Ace and Deuce. They said it's super good. Grim groaned, head hanging. Guess I'll just have to drown my sorrows in food. I'm gonna eat every last bit of the bread they have! When they arrived at the cafeteria, a crowd of people was already gathered around a table on the far side of the room. Yeah. Alright. Today's a special day, a ghost flying high above the crowd shouted. The famous bakery from town is serving up their goods. It only happens once a month. Their stock sells out fast, so you better hurry. Ace and Deuce pulled up behind them, equally surprised at all the commotion. Whoa, dang, Ace cried. The whole world's here already. They're going to sell out in no time, Deuce said. You gotta get in there. Egg sandwiches are now sold out, one ghost announced. Only one of our famous deluxe ham and cheese sandwiches left, another ghost called. An angry cry rang out as a student shouted, Hey! I had that sandwich first! After you cut the line, keep it to yourself, jerkface, another student retorted. Yuya was not interested in joining the battle for sandwiches and pastries, so he handed the promised lunch money to Ace and Deuce. And then he lined up alone for his regular lunch. That line was so much shorter than usual, and he placed his order in no time. Today's special was salmon cream stew. That sounds yummy. Yuya got seats for everyone and settled in to wait, his lunch steaming before him, but Grim soon came bouncing along on excited feet. The monster was using both hands to carry several items wrapped in paper. He set them down on the table and picked up the one that was the largest. Meow! He cackled. Check it out, you! Guess who scored the last deluxe ham cheese sandwich? This guy! Grim the Great! Wow, Yuya was impressed. I heard people saying that's the most popular sandwich. I can't believe you got one. Ace and Deuce walked up behind Grim looking tired. Grim jumped in and snatched it out of the hands of one of the upperclassmen, Deuce told Yuya. Hearing this, Yuya was silently relieved he hadn't gone with them. This loser was in and out like a lightning strike, Ace said, glaring down at the triumph Grim. So the guy thought I did it, even though I was just standing there. For a sec, I thought he was gonna murder me. Oh my god. He tried to steal a bunch of other stuff too, Deuce sighed. It was a real piece of work to hold him back. Thank you for the follow, Hashi. Oh yeah, for the love. Cream stew not for me, Rose. Really? You guys don't like salmon or cream stew? Dang, I like both, so that sounds like heaven on earth. I kinda wanna make it. You okay, you asked? Did you manage to get something for yourselves? Ace and Deuce smiled as they placed white paper packages on the table. Through the gaps in the paper, you saw thick slices of roast beef and vivid green lettuce. There were also buns with cream spilling out of them and a baguette baked with cheese on top. They had come back with quite the haul. Even with all that, though, they still had change to give back to Yuya, meaning the bakery was probably priced for students. He understood why the booth was so popular. Time for grub! Ace plopped himself down across from Yuya, and Deuce took the seat next to Ace. Thanks for lunch, you, Deuce said. No, thank you for helping fix up Ramshackle Dorm. Yuya replied as the pair cheerfully unwrapped their sandwiches. As for Grim, he was vibrating with happiness as he stared lovingly at the large tray he had taken down. He would normally have leaped onto it without moment's hesitation. so he must have really been pleased with himself. The sandwich indeed deserved the title deluxe. It was significantly larger than Ace's sandwich, wrapped in thin wax paper instead of the white paper package covering Ace's sandwich, perhaps because it didn't fit. The transparent paper revealed 2 slices of perfectly toasted bread, I'm getting hungry, and generous slices of ham and cheese. The sandwich looked positively delicious. This deluxe ham and cheese sandwich is gonna be a party in my mouth, Grim declared. Deluxe ham and cheese sandwich? Someone repeated from behind Yuya. Deuce's face grew pale. Okay. Curious, Yuya peered over his shoulder to find a skinny boy with large animal ears poking out of biscuit-colored hair. The boy regarded the surprised Yuya and bewildered Deuce and tilted his ears forward. Oh, hey, whoa, the boy said. You're those reckless first years from that incident, right? And the roly-poly kitty cat's here too. We meet again, huh? Huh? Who's this? Ace whispered. Is he from Savannah Claw? No clue, Grim said, grinning at his sandwich without a glance at the boy. How am I supposed to remember every stupid little thing that happens? You really don't pull punches, I'm Ruggy Bucci, Savannah Claw's 2nd year. As the boy grinned at Ace, sharp teeth glinted in the light. Startled, Yuya managed a polite bow. How have you been? He asked. Ruggy was the Savannah Claw student Yuya and Deuce had met when they first went to Mr. S's mystery shop to get ingredients for a chestnut tart a few weeks ago. Ruggy and the Savannah Claw dorm's house warden, Leona King Scholar, had intervened when Deuce had started fighting with some Savannah Claw students and had kept the encounter from escalating to dangerous levels. You know him too, you? Ace asked. Yuya grunted a non-committal response. He figured Deuce wouldn't want this story told, since he was trying to hide his out-of-control side. Ruggy peered at the sandwich in front of Grim. That really is a deluxe ham and cheese sandwich. I can't believe you were able to get your hands on one, he said admiringly. The thing is, I really need to buy one of those sandwiches today. There's a fairly frightening fellow who's gonna be very mad at me if I don't. But my class ran long, and so I arrived at the lunch war too late. Huh. Sucks to be you. I got one though, Grim said, finding a sandwich. Grim! You chided. Ruggy waved a hand back and forth, narrowing his blue-gray eyes. No, it's alright. Looks good, huh? Grim teased. Bet you wish you had one. Go ahead and be jealous as you want. Oh my god, Grim. Yeah, I sure do. And I have a proposition for you. Ruggy pulled something out of his uniform pocket. It was smaller than Yuya's fist, about a quarter of the size of the deluxe ham and cheese sandwich. You mind trading that sandwich for this mini anpan bun? Anpan? Grim looked at the other boy dubiously. Ace and Deuce also cocked their heads. I don't think they kept this part in the English version of the game. Interesting. Deuce met him? Yeah, so the light novel is a bit different. They had Ruggy and Leona interact a little bit more in book 1. Now that Yuya thought about it, he couldn't remember seeing any Japanese food or snacks since arriving in Twisted-Wonderland. All the snacks in the cafeteria and shop were like the American-British snacks he heard about. Yuya immediately became overcome with homesickness for those familiar flavors. The fact that Ruggy was holding an anpan at least meant that the item existed somewhere in this world. He heaved a sigh of relief. It's like a sweet roll, Yuya explained. It's got this red bean paste inside, kind of like a jelly donut. Jelly donut. Huh? Grim's nose twitched, his curiosity piqued, and he quickly hugged his sandwich with both hands. Whatever that thing is, ain't no way I'm trading it for a teensy tiny bun. I figured you'd say that, Ace laughed. Deuce and Yuya laughed too. Pigs would fly before the glutinous Grim traded a large sandwich for a small bun. Oh, come on now. Let's not be like that. Here, I insist, Ruggy said, holding out the anpan, and the unthinkable thing happened. Grim held out his deluxe ham cheese sandwich for Ruggy. What? Yuya, Ace, and Deuce shouted in unison. Might be a storm coming tomorrow, Deuce muttered. Yuya bobbed his head in agreement. Grim looked even more surprised than his friends. His eyes flew open, and he stared at his own paws in disbelief. Meow! He yelped. What in the name of tuna? My paws are moving on their own! Sounds like we have ourselves a deal. Ruggy plucked the sandwich from Grim's hand and set the anpan down in its place. What luck I found. A kind soul willing to trade. You enjoy that anpan? It's so delicious. You'll find you won't be dissatisfied, even if it's small. Grim lunged forward to try to take the sandwich back, but the smiling Ruggy stepped nimbly aside to dodge the monster. Grim tumbled from the chair onto the floor. My deluxe sandwich is sandwich! He shrieked. Give it back! It's mine now, Toodles! Ruggy said as he sauntered off. Stop! Grim tried to give chase, but Deuce was quick to restrain him as he glanced around. Look, Deuce commanded in a hushed tone. We're surrounded by Savannah Claw guys. Gia looked up at the people gathered around and realized that every single one of them wore a yellow armband. Dude, what did you want with Savannah Claw? Said one student. How about you hear what you gotta say, huh? Said another. Big, muscular students stood in front of them like a wall. Nah, man, it's nothing. We're all good, Ace stated and flashed a smile. We were just messing around, just doing our all day, right? You nodded vigorously. So long as you get it, one of the Savannah Claw students said. By the time their group had dispersed, Ruggy was long gone. That jerk! Grim snarled. Where'd he go? Give it up, man, Ace said and shook his head. You can't take on that many Savannah Claw students all by yourself. You don't stand a chance against them. The dorms of Nightroom College each had their own particular personality. Savannah Claus was sporty, and the majority of its students were jocks. Ace had once told Yuya that the... Fearful, thank you for follow. The dorm was gathering place for students who were a fleet of foot strong with stamina. Okay. The boys who had just confronted them were so huge and muscular that Yuya could hardly believe they were all about his age. Grim's chances against a group like that were vanishingly small. The monster wasn't even half their size, and the use of the magic in person fights was forbidden at Nightroom College. My magnificent deluxe ham and cheese! We're this teensy! Grim clambered onto his chair and stared at the small anpan bun in a daze. He had squeezed it in his fall, causing the sweet bean paste in the middle to shoot out at the sides. No! If you're so merciful about it, you shouldn't have traded it in the first place, Yuya told him. I bet you were trying to come off all cool and it backfired on you, Ace said. I didn't! I wasn't! Grim shouted and slammed a paw down on the table. I didn't want to trade! It's like when he put out his hand, my paw just shot out, like it was copying his. So you did just get carried away, Deuce sighed, exasperated. You can't go whining after the fact. I'm not... Unable to explain his own actions, Grim lost his temper and hampered his paws against the table in a frustrated protest. Simmer down, man, Ace said. With the whole sitch out of the way, if you hadn't handed that sandwich over, he obviously would have taken it by force. Yuya shuddered and asked, where did those guys even come from? Maybe they just overheard the quarrel with Bucci, Deuce said, his brow furrowed. Maybe they were in on it from the start. Dang. Ruggy really set everything up, bro. They got into position so fast like they were used to fighting, Yuya remarked. I guess it's probably best to assume that wasn't a coincidence. I told you, you don't want to tangle with Savannah Claw, Ace said, lowering his voice. Some of those guys are beast folk, yeah? Plus, did you check the fangs on Ruggy? We might be the same size, but he gives off real dangerous carnivore vibes. A couple of dunces like... Or no, dunces I think it's called. Like Deuce and Grim go jumping him. They'll hunt you like small prey, and it'll be game over in no time flat. Don't lump me in with Grim, Deuce said huffily. But Grim couldn't hear him over the sound of his own whining. You mean they're good at teamwork, he asked, remembering something Ace had told him before. He said there are a lot of beast folk in Savannah Claw. Is that why? Yeah, Ace said, nodding. Although there are humans like us in Savannah Claw too, I think the biggest reason is basically the dorm's style. They're way sportier than the other dorms, which is why they're skilled at spell drive too. Oh, right, Yuya nodded slowly. They were talking about that in class this morning. Savannah Claw was a dorm based on the indomitable will of the King of Beasts, one of the great 7 mages who were so powerful. Night Raven College had dedicated a dorm to each of them. The students were often physically strong to go with that mindset and took a great deal of pride in their dorm. Oh, yeah, Ace said. They're regular tourney champs. A lot of their crew's been scouted at the tournament and gone pro afterwards. Hina's apparently have really tough fights. Ooh, I believe it. Yeah, Deuce said, but the winning dorm the last 2 years was, yup, Ace said, Diasmonia. That's why fighting was about this. That's what the fighting was about this morning. Okay, let me. Is this one good? Hope so. No, that's too like too serious. Too serious. This one. Yeah, Deuce said, but the winning dorm last 2 years was, yup, Ace said, Diasmonia. That's what the fighting was about this morning. Diasmonia has been the champion for the last 2 years. Oh, Yuya said. No wonder they were fighting in the homeroom. Right? Ace said. So the Savannah Class students are all on edge as it gets time for the spell drive tournament. Best thing to do is stay away from them right now. Diasmonia had become a force in spell drive in recent years. Savannah Claw now viewed them as their enemies. Yuya vowed to stay away from both dorms until the tournament was over. Spell drive tournament, Grim gasped. When he heard those words, all his fury melted away, and he fell prone onto the table. First, I don't get to be in a spell drive tournament, and now the deluxe ham, cheese, and sandwich I sweated blood for turned into a teensy tiny bun. This is the worst day of my pathetic life! Okay. Grim's furry paws were damp with tears and snot. Oh, Yuya actually felt sorry for him, so he collected the remaining buns and pastries and set them in front of Grim. You've got all these other buns, though, he said, patting the monster's rounded back. They look tasty. You can get another deluxe sandwich next time. Let it go for today. This sucks, Grim said, and scarfed down a bagel from the pile in the 3 bites before casting his eyes around the table. I'm never gonna fill my stomach with this. Hey, you! I'm taking this stew off your hands. Hey, no! Don't! Yuya protested as he hurriedly yanked his plate up. Grim changed tactics and went after Deuce's sandwich. Not a chance! Deuce cried. Leave me out of this! Yikes! Better knock this back before Grim inhales it, Ace shouted as he shoved his sandwich into his mouth, hardly chewing, not sparing a moment to savor this special treat. Before they knew it, in the blink of an eye, their lunch break was over. He's so cute. Okay, this is chapter 3. Let me just check real quick. When is the next one? Oh! Okay, I'm gonna keep going until we reach a certain page, and then that's where we'll stop. Okay. Alright, now we're gonna change music. Which one will be a good one to play? They're technically not there, but let me try this one. No, that's too like upbeat. Yeah. I was hoping there was like some song that I could play like as chill. I don't know. I don't remember all the songs they play for Twisted-Wonderland. This one, I guess? Reggie headed for the botanical garden, holding the deluxe ham and cheese sandwich. He succeeded in his quest so far, so for once he didn't need to drag his feet on the way back in order to think up an excuse. He simply slipped through the gates. The botanical garden was next to the alchemy workshop and mostly grew magical plants to be used in experiments. No matter how cold it was outside, the interior of the massive glass dome remained the same fixed temperature thanks to the mage stone's powered climate control. Greenery and flowers of all kinds filled the space, and waterways were home to the aquatic plants that could be observed from small bridges around the garden. Froggy had never seen such a large greenhouse before he started class at night grade. He recalled seeing the hobby gardens of the wealthy during his years spent hustling to earn enough money to keep himself alive, but this greenhouse put them all to shame. He'd also never seen such carefully tended plants anywhere in his hometown. To him, nature wasn't something you went out of your way to nurture. Instead, it was an untouched wild threat that was constant presence everywhere. Damn. Froggy had no idea what any of these plants were called, and he crushed them underfoot as he moved deeper into the garden. He pushed green fragment leaves aside until he found a tall boy lying beneath a tree. It was Leona King's color! Ooh! Yay! Third-year student and house warden of Savannah Cloud Dorm. Leona! Lunch is served, my friend! Reggie called out, then he called again, and again. Finally, a crease between the tall boy's eyebrows and, a crease appeared between the tall boy's eyebrows, and he opened his eyes. They were green, reminiscence of a midsummer plant, bright with self-confidence. But the large scar that ran from his left eyebrows down to his cheek muted the force of those eyes to give him an overall look of ennui. What is that? What does ennui mean? What's going on? What does that mean? I'll look that later. Look later. Is it noon already? Leona said with a wide yawn. Froggy let out an exasperated sigh. Don't tell me you've been asleep all morning. You're going to fail more of your core classes. Whatever. Anyway, did you get what I wanted? Froggy didn't bother to respond. Leona's ancestors were lions, so there was no way he had failed to pick up the scent of his prey. Huh. Leona looked up at Froggy. Looks like you actually pulled it off today. Barely. Must you always request the most popular item on bakery day? Froggy asked as he handed over to the Lux ham and cheese sandwich. He also gave him an iced tea, which he picked up on the way, figuring Leona would want a drink with his lunch. Oh, doesn't it mean boredom or something? Oh, does it? I would believe you. Ennui is a noun defining a feeling of listlessness, profound boredom, satisfaction, lack of excitement, interest, okay, that's Leona right there. Okay. He knew only too well that this level of obsequiousness was essential in order to prove himself as an excellent gopher. Leona accepted them without a word and grinned almost mockingly. Are your brain dead? The fact that it's hard to get is exactly what makes it be wanted so bad. Is that it? Me? I'll eat anything so as long as it isn't moldy. Ruggy. Getting into an Irish college had seriously changed Ruggy's life. He doubted any other student at the school could even imagine life in a slum, wondering where their next meal would come from. Leona, in particular, had almost certainly never experienced pangs of hunger so painful that death seemed preferable, or had put rotten food in his mouth when he could no longer stand those painful pangs. But as a prince, Ruggy said, I doubt you could relate, your highness. Leona sniffed indignantly. Hold on, I'm gonna play a different song now. Because he said prince, so it activated this song. Yeah. Yeah. Leona sniffed indignantly. Oh my god, I can't say words today. It ain't like I'm the first in line for succession. I'm the second-born prince, so I probably won't ever be king. I'm practically a commoner, really. You are not, Ruggy protested. You once saw a picture of my family's home and mistook it for a doghouse, remember? Crazy thing, by the way, that Leona did. Like, hello? Did I really? Leona said evenly as he polished off the sandwich in big bites. He seemed nervous. He seemed ravenous, but the way he ate was nevertheless somehow refined. Ruggy was impressed. Guess the way you're raised shows up in small things like this, huh? He thought. Like Leona, Ruggie was from Sunset Savannah, but Ruggie grew up in a garden variety slum, a member of the hyena family, which was looked down out of tired tradition. Leona was one of the country's 2 princes. Ruggie had been surprised when he arrived at Nightwing College and learned that the prince from his own land was an upperclassman in his dorm, and he quickly decided to cozy up to this prince. Strong, smart, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. If he could hitch his wagon to this prince, he would never go hungry again. The royal life stinks, honestly, Leona told him. All that matters is the order of your birth. Hard work and talent basically means nothing. I guess I could see that being a drag. It is. In the end, there's the king, and that's it. Leona rolled his eyes. All those other folks who aren't born to be king are stuck living their lives trying to curry favor. Nothing free about that. If Leona knew how Ruggie had lived in Sunset Savannah, his words certainly didn't acknowledge it or show any consideration. But Ruggie knew he couldn't get angry at Leona's arrogance. That would end what he had been working toward. Ruggie could poke and jab in a lighthearted way, but if he reacted seriously, Leona would cut it loose in a heartbeat. Leona hated any kind of hassle. As if I'd set it all on fire like that, Ruggie chuckled to himself. Only a fool would get carried away by emotion and trash a hard-won advantage. Leona almost certainly knew Ruggie was strategic like this. He was a good boss but lazy, which also made him sloppy with money. And while he was occasionally rough with people, he was always generous with those who served him. Once again, today, he asked no questions about his change from lunch, allowing it to stay tucked into Ruggie's pocket. Just as Ruggie had anticipated, Leona clearly understood that a little reward went a long way. Above all else, Leona had ambition. That golden ambition was what mesmerized Ruggie. Oh, by the way, there's the housewarming meeting after school today about the spell drive tournament. Please try to actually show up, Ruggie said. And Leona nodded perfunctorily. Ugh, what a headache, Leona grumbled as he lay back down under the tree. I'm having another snooze. Wake me after lunch break is over. I'm not your alarm clock, Leona, Ruggie muttered, but Leona didn't open his eyes. Alright, after this section with the meeting, that's where I'm going to end this stream. I said Leona's aware, but he doesn't talk on actuals about it? Yeah. He don't care. He do whatever he wants. Leona King Scholar. The prince, he's a king. Riddle Rosarts hurried towards the mirror chamber, the large multi-purpose room that housed the dark mirror that chose which dorm students would join. For the housewarming meeting, when he entered the ornate room, the other housewardens pointedly averted their eyes, just as they had ever since the fateful day when he overblotted. Actually, wait, no, they have a certain music for the mirror chamber, right? Where is it? This one. There we go. Well, if it isn't the angry little baby from Hartsville, Missita Leona taunted as he crossed his legs. You all better now? You could have stayed in bed like a good little boy surrounded by all your fanboys. I appreciate your concern, Riddle said, firmly rebuffing Leona's sneer. But I'm quite capable of managing my own health. The truth was, however, Riddle had been hard-pressed to even stand up for a period of time afterward. His entire body was leaden and sore, so that he wondered if he burned up all his stamina and his vitality along with his magic. On top of that, wherever he went, he felt the eyes of other people on him. Faces full of fear, curiosity, and contempt. Yeah, like, oh my god. Little does he know, he's about to feel the same thing in just a few days. Oh my god. He was the mage who had lost himself to anger and overblotted, the tyrant who had been rejected by his dorm mates, the former honor student who caused an unprecedented scandal at the famed Arcane Academy. Every whispered word was like a knife in Riddle's pride. The whispers tormented him every single day, especially because they were all true. Aww. He knew he must accept this punishment. What he had done was serious, and he was honestly grateful he hadn't been expelled. For the incident, he wasn't yet able to process exactly how his mother had convinced the academy not to end his enrollment. Oh my god. Wait, so his mom does know that he overblotted. Oh, wow. I wonder how she feels. I want to know how Riddle's mom feels after learning that. I thought it was like a secret, but no, I guess they have to tell the parents eventually. Damn. Hi, you know what's up? Well then, Head Mage Dark Crowley said, I call to order this meeting of House Wardens. Our agenda today concerns the Interdorm Spell Drive tournament to take place at the end of this month. The House Wardens gathered in the mirror chamber nodded. Let us begin with the report from the head of the tournament planning committee, Mr. Azul Ashengrotto of Octavinal Dorm. Standing in the center of the room was the Octavinal Dorm House Warden. Greetings, he said. I am Azul, and it is my honor to lead the planning committee. I'm here with my report. Azul was a third year like Riddle. Oh, they messed that up bad. They meant to say second year. Oopsie. Azul was a second year like Riddle and had become house warden that year. Smiling brightly, he seemed diligent and kind, the very picture of an honor student. A person meeting him for the first time would have been hard-pressed not to like him. But the other house wardens knew him to be extremely calculating and a guarded boy. Wearing his perfect smile, Azul gave his report on the state of preparations for the tournament. A large number of guests had been invited. As always, it's promised to be a spectacular event. Okay. They misspelled it, yeah. Oopsie daisy, yeah. That's all from me. Does anyone have any questions? Azul, whoa! Azul said, glancing around the other house wardens. No one spoke up, and so Azul, assuming no one had any concerns, sat back down. The head mage stood once more, proudly cut an imposing figure in his top hat, long coat, and conspicuous black mask, which had sharp pointed nose and covered his face from his forehead to below his golden eyes. Now then, we need to discuss the tournament matchups. I have an idea I'd like to propose, he said. Then he cleared his throat and pursed his lips. It concerns the Diasmania House Warden. I think we should induct Malleus Draconia into the Hall of Fame to keep him off the field entirely. Murmurs rippled through the mirror chamber. The Hall of Fame? Riddle asked. There is no precedent for that. Azul shrugged. As the leader of the planning committee, he hadn't heard anything about this from the head mage beforehand, and it appeared to be news to the others as well. What are you on about? Leona demanded. His expression stirred. Ever since Mr. Draconia enrolled here, no dorm has scored even a single point against Diasmonia. Damn! The head mage said briskly. Diasmonia regularly scores 100 points per game, with 90% of them being from Mr. Draconia himself. Yeah, exactly. That dude totally breaks the game. It's like he's got cheat codes enabled, said the disembodied voice of Idia Shroud, the Ignihide House Warden. His voice was coming from a tablet that was set out in his place. He was quite anti-social and rarely appeared in person at these meetings. Instead, Idia remained in his room using the tablet to listen and mutter somewhat incomprehensible comments. As usual, Riddle failed to understand the better part of what he said, but he could tell that the Ignihine House Warden was scornful of Draconia, to say the least. The game? Head Mage asked, a harsh look on his face. No! Listen! Amusement is not the only goal of this tournament. Our hope is that the spectators the world over will discovered okay, hold on, they messed this up too. Our hope is that the spectators all over the world will discover talented new mages. His serious tone made Riddle realize the true intention behind this proposal. The Spell Drive tournament determined the students' future career options. Those who performed well were scouted for the Pro League and made their professional debuts after graduating. This was the dream and goal of more than a few students. There were probably even some who had come to Nigerian College specifically as a way to become a professional player. Recent matches have ended without anyone, save Mr. Draconia casting even a single spell, and that includes his own teammates. This is less than optimal state of affairs, the head mage continued. Riddle remembered exactly what that state of affairs had been like last year, just as the head mage noted, had been quite the unusual scene. The spell drive tournament was supposedly a competition of knowledge, stamina, and magic, but Malleus, the world's leading mage, had bent it to his will with his overwhelming magical strength. The other Diasmonia players and the opposing teams hadn't managed to get in a single play. They simply had been trampled underfoot. Such a show could hardly be called a tournament or an even sporting event. Alright. Still in a daze, Riddle heard his Vice House Warden Trey Clover sigh, further surprising him. This was how it went last year too, his Vice House Warden noted. Last year was a bit of bad luck for Savannah Claw Dorm in particular, Ali said as he lowered his voice. Looking concerned, for the second year in a row, they were paired against Diasmonia for their first match in the tournament and eliminated in the first round. Everyone in the mirror chamber looked at Leona, the Savannah Claw House Warden. Savannah Claw had been a frequent champion ever since the Academy began holding the Spell Drive tournament. Hold on, this is like, debriefing. Began holding the Spell Drive. Savannah Claw had been a frequent champion ever since the Academy began holding the Spell Drive tournament, and they never placed lower than third. In fact, Savannah Claw had such a strong team that Riddle assumed they would latch onto Malleus and really dig their teeth into him right up till the end. Undoubtedly, the fact that they were a proven force on the field made it all more frustrating that a single player could change the game so thoroughly. Riddle would never forget Leona's angry roar when he heard that they had been shut out. It had been a rare display of rage from a generally stoic lion boy. Oh my god, I want to see that! Oh, that's certainly not impressing any recruiters, the head mage continued. Thus, this master of disproportionate performance directly affects the futures of the students of Savannah Claw, many of whom have their sights set on careers as professionals. And you're saying you expect us to make fools of ourselves on the field again this year? Leona demanded. A menacing edge in his voice that reminded Riddle of his roar last year. While he wasn't quite yelling, his anger was barely contained. Oh. No, the head mage shook his head. That is not what I'm saying. How is it different? Ooh. Hold on. Is it this one that I put on? No, that's too silly. That's too silly. What about this one? I don't know if that's too scary. I'm trying to think of like a song that will fit Leona's anger right now. No, that's too serious. I guess this one. How is it different? Leona pressed. Our great and wise head mage believes we'll face crushing defeat again this year. And so you're kindly removing Malleus from play by inducting him into the Hall of Fame and taking pity on our poor wretched souls. Well, it certainly brings me no pleasure to suggest it. The head mage averted his eyes, which was the equivalent of admitting Leona was correct. Leona fell silent, and the head mage spoke again, his tone deliberately cheery. Come now, it's not such a big deal, is it? Regardless, I have already gained Draconia's informal consent on the matter. All we need now is this committee's approval. Riddle and the other house wardens, except for Leona, looked at each other, bewildered. Hall of Fame? Malleus Draconia? The measure was indeed extraordinary, but it would prevent the spectacular defeats they saw last year. Not only that, it might give Riddle the opportunity to unveil some clever bit of magic and show off his superior skills as a mage to the students of his own dorm, and perhaps to the world. He wanted this win so badly he could taste it. Here was his chance to regain his status. His rational mind insisted that he couldn't let this opportunity to couldn't let this opportunity to remove Malleus from the playing field get away from him. But would his personal pride in his own abilities really allow him to take the easy way out? Groan jolted him out of his thoughts. So you're saying we need a handicap, Leona said, standing up. Listen and listen well, Teach. Ain't nothing I hate more in the whole world than someone telling me you can't win before I even have a chance to fight. Riddles couldn't see Leona's expression, nor could he make out the head mage's expression under his mask, but an intimidating air radiated from the house warden's back. Then Leona turned around and a smile on his face in a stark contrast with his tone. This doesn't bug you guys? He asked, his quiet voice carrying to every corner of the mirror chamber. Remember how things went down last year and the year before? How it felt to be nothing more than a stage for the great Malleus Draconia to strut around on flaunting his abilities? You sure you want to let him walk away with that win? We do this Hall of Fame thing and we'll be forever branded as the herbivores who scurried off in fear of Malleus. Leona's appeal entered their ears and shook their hearts. The unbearable humiliation flared to life in each of them. Malleus hadn't looked particularly happy when the TV cameras pointed at him after he won. He simply cocked his head as to say, "Is that all?" Riddle and the others had stared with a disgust and a hint of fear. With this monster on the field and their talents were useless, they didn't even have the chance to show them off. The sight of the young mages lying prostrate on the ground after having been completely blown away by Malleus' storm of magic, no doubt, still lingered in memories. Wow. Around the world. Riddle couldn't even count the number of times he'd come across sneering and whispering that the students of the supposedly acclaimed Night Raven College can't compete against someone with innate talent. The thought made him grit his teeth. Dang! Look at Leona! I don't know if you guys saw, because it kind of, bled through the page a little bit. You can see behind it, but there he is. Leona King Scholar. This is probably, one of my favorite illustrations of him. Yana Toboso really ate with this one. Look at that. Woohoo! Pose eats. He eats. For free? Yeah, for free! Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry, I can't. I know I need to read, but I really can't stop staring. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot have him fully in the page, so you're gonna just have to look at his hand while I read the rest. Well, Leona's body is tea. Yeah, his chest. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. Look at his face. Chest card and face card are never declining. Oh my god. And his hair card too. And ears. Alright, anyways. Down, chat, down. Yeah, do not blame chat for acting the way they act. Okay. Of course, this bothered them. How could it not? Naturally, every boy in that room shared the burning desire to prove themselves on the world stage. But what would Leona have them do about this tempest that they were up against? Noticing the confusion on the faces around them, Leona turned his face upward. Ah, he sighed, thinking rather deliberately before spreading his hands out. Sure, in a battle of brute force, no one's beating him. That's a fact. But in a battle of wits, that's a different story. Leona raised his voice. Spell Drive ain't a game about power. It's about what's up here, in your head. You all should be racking your brains, trying to come up with a way to drag Malleus down. Drag Malleus down? Riddle muttered. Leona looked over and nodded. Yeah, he said. What's giving up gonna do when you still got a chance? Notch. It won't be easy. That's exactly whichever team figures it out is gonna be sitting real pretty on the world stage. His voice grew more animated, as though he was enjoying himself. After their wins these last couple of years, DSmoney is gonna get sloppy. Now's our time. Sure, it's risky, but that only makes the reward even sweeter. His clear confidence chipped away at the lingering anxiety in the room. Beating Malleus would be difficult. Everyone understood that painfully well. Defeating the world's leading mage would be no easy task. but Leona's words stirred their fighting spirit, made them want to stand up to Malleus. They began to imagine a brighter outcome. Malleus had been lording himself over us all this time, and us little people taking him down would be the ultimate humiliation for him. So, don't you want to see that self-important? Just one more look before we go to the next page. Self-important, stuck-up jerk's crestfallen face get broadcast to the whole world? And don't you want to be the one to put that look on his face? Doesn't the thought of it make you want to roar? Leona declared. The house wardens glanced at each other. They nodded. They're so messy. For once, Leona is making perfect sense, murmured Leville Shenheit, Pumpfuhrer's house warden. As he smiled daringly, Will was particularly proud of his own beauty. He wouldn't stand to look ugly before others. I agree. Crowley's plan is utter nonsense. I am also in agreement. Hold on, I'm going to just put the different song real quick. Yippee. I'm also in agreement, declared Kalim Alisim, the house warden of Scribia Dorm. He threw his hands up into the air with an innocent, insouciant smile. It's not nice to leave only Malleus out of the group. We should all have fun together at a tournament like this. Yes, I think Leona's proposal is quite marvelous, Azul said. He clasped his hands together in front of his chest, as though deeply moved, but there was a shrewd light in his eyes. Malleus's loss would certainly boost the ratings. It would be the instant talk of the town. Who knows what kind of impact it would have in the end. So you see, they're listening, but they're not really listening, because they all have their own, like, ulterior motives, I guess. I do think a Hall of Fame induction would be fine, though, Idia said, his disinterested voice emanating through the tablet speaker. Inahai didn't really participate in sporting events, so Idia was neither assenting to nor rejecting either idea. He didn't care one way or the other. As the rest of the undecided house wardens each agreed, with Leona, Riddle was left as the only one who hadn't yet responded. The other boys turned to him curiously. He met their eyes squarely and responded, I am in agreement. As one of the foremost mages here, the last thing I want to do is give up without a fight. Nice. It's settled then, Leona said. His satisfied grin seemed to praise the Riddle. To say, way to push back, pal. However, Riddle wasn't particularly comfortable with Leona's tactics. Leona didn't care a whit about rules. They were both house wardens, yet Leona did not seem to concern himself with the job at all. His nature and attitude toward life weren't anything the rule-following Riddle respected. How could such an unserious slacker be a house warden? At times, Riddle had even gotten angry at the lion boy and censured him directly. He found Leona's laziness, elusiveness, and penchant for sarcasm infuriating. Moreover, the hardest thing for him to accept was the fact that Leona was adored by the students of Savannah. Why would anyone respect someone who continually ignored the rules? As a person who didn't maintain order had no value. Riddle was the mind that such a person should not be permitted to exist. Yet Riddle could now understand people's reactions to him. Leona excelled at reading people. He poked at anxieties and complexes of others and offered just the right words to prod and encourage them. Riddle couldn't deny the joy and hope that had welled up inside him. Kindled by Leona's words, until now he had no idea that exhortations and pep talks could pierce people's hearts in this way. I think we have our answer, Leona said proudly. The Hall of Fame idea is officially shut down. Fine, I understand, Crowley conceded, shaking his head, but I expect everyone to live up to all the boasting you've done today. Alright, last page. We'll put in the work. Don't you worry, Leona said, leisurely undaunted by the head mage's warning. Leona's confidence came off as arrogance at times, but right then it dazzled Riddle. If Riddle could read people and manipulate them the way Leona did, the situation might be very different. There was no use in crying over spilled milk. That was exactly why he wanted to make his mark on the tournament and regain the approval of his dorm. Dang! That was hella cool! Alright, we read like 3 chapters. The stream is like 2 hours long, and I think this is like a reasonable time to like end the stream. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and listening to my read along. Did you guys enjoy it? What was your favorite part? My favorite part was whenever they questioned the ghosts and seeing Leona's greatest illustration ever. Space Green Rose, yes, yeah. Thanks for the book reading, Rose. I felt like I was back in elementary school. I have a good day, night, whatever. Bye, Rose. Thank you, Mona. I just got the book today. Oh, nice. I hope you enjoy reading it, Leona. Yeah, my favorite part was also Leona. I wanted to end it at that part because I knew the illustration was gonna come. Ever since I saw that illustration online, I was addicted to that illustration. I'll catch up with the VOD to what I missed. Yeah. So I don't. Hold on. Let me just see how many pages are in this one. This is 340 pages long. So that divided by 2. I'm just gonna only read half the book, because I don't want to like spoil everything, you know. You lean in future, do speeds, line up. Oh, nice. Okay, let me catch him before you end stream. So I'll read up to page 170 on stream. I'll probably do the stream again next week because I had a lot of fun. Yes, I did see the new designs. Are amazing and awesome, and I am in love with them. And I think RSA is amazing. What else am I gonna say? Oh yeah, Twist News this Sunday. I'll catch you guys there. Hopefully we finally get that event that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for that one event. I have so many content videos, ideas that I want to make about the event. I really want to just stream an event. I'm like yearning for it. Hopefully the April is the time that we get that event. But anyways, I digress. I'm gonna go off live. I'm gonna put that stream up so you guys have a waiting room. And you guys can go chat over there. And I'll see you guys next time. Good luck to everyone who's gonna poll for Vil. And yeah, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Bye bye. And by the way, we're gonna hunt. We're gonna hunt. Oh my god, we're gonna raid Deuce's voice actor from the anime, the English one. I'm gonna put the username in the chat. It is called Hunt McCoy, and he's playing the Tomodachi Life demo. I want to play that game so bad. So he's on Twitch only. Make sure you follow them. And yeah. Oh wait. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye. Bye.